Hello and welcome to A Live with Amanda. Our question for today is, how do I transition from working at an agency or another group practice to going out on my own? So I think that this is going to really depend on your particular situation. Where are you working? Whether you're working at an agency or another private practice is going to make a big difference, because if you're working at an agency, you may not have a non-compete, or you may. Or you may be able to see clients on your own, no problem. In the group, if you're in a group practice, it can look a little bit different. Now, I'm coming from the perspective of somebody who went into solo practice myself. I didn't work at a group practice, and now I own a group practice. So I know what that looks like as an owner, but I don't know what that looks like as somebody who works at a group practice. Your group practice owner may or may not be supportive of that. I think that one of the biggest fears, and I'll just address this in the beginning, for a group if you work at a group practice, is that somebody leaves, which I get, people leave. I'm never mad when people leave. I might feel sad and I might, wonder about my own business, but I get that people want to leave. But when people straddle between two, they're at my group practice or a group practice and they're on their own, we're always wondering, like, are they just going to steal the clients? Or, we're going to give them intakes and they're just going to bring them over to their practice. Are the lines going to get blurred? So you want to make sure, however you do it, whether you're at an agency or at a group practice and you're going out on your own, that the lines are very clear. Right? That you know where you're going to be getting your clients from, you know where you're getting your paperwork from, you know where you're getting your electronic health record from, and that's all kept extremely separate from wherever you're working. Now, if you're working at an agency, you do want to check your employment contract to make sure that you are able to see clients, usually within a mile radius. I think, this is just me, the best way to dip your finger, into private practice is to keep your full-time job and to build up a caseload part-time. It takes, I can say at our group practice, which we have a sort of like a well-oiled machine, it can take 3 months to fill up and for insurance payments to start coming in. And so if somebody is leaving their full-time job, they could have 3 months without that steady paycheck like they were used to at their agency, which 3 months can be very scary for people. When you are building your own practice, it can take longer than 3 months, depending on where you're getting your referrals from, private pay versus insurance. If you're already credentialed, how long the credentialing takes and how long payments take to start coming in. So I don't want to scare you into doing that, but I want you to be realistic. Now, I can talk about me. I kept my full-time job for 1 year and I built up my private practice over 1 year. I had a lot of things kind of going on during that time. I was traveling for my main job, so that kind of inhibited me a little bit from maybe building as fast as I wanted to. But on a safe side, it took me 1 year to build up to where I had enough cash reserves to leave my job. I didn't have a lot of lingering debts. Like, I didn't have credit card debts that I was worried about. So I had a reserve. I didn't have a lot of debt, and I had enough income coming in every month that I knew that I was going to be able to pay my bills. And I had a plan to continue to increase that. It wasn't like, okay, I have this amount of income coming in and I know I'm good. Like, no, I needed to know that my income would double, and it did. And I was really out of the box in the way that I built up my practice when I first started. I started with a low rate. I wouldn't recommend doing that now, but it was helpful in some ways because a lot of people could really afford my rate. And then I accepted insurance. I always had somebody doing my billing from the beginning. And very shortly after starting, I had somebody managing my phones for me. And so I was able to do a lot of, I was able to do clinical hours, and I was able to do networking. And so both of those things really helped drive my income. And so you want to make sure that you have a solid plan of how you're going to get clients. I know that so many people right now want to start their own private practices, and a lot of people want to go virtual because it's low risk, but because it's low risk, it's less reward, meaning there are less and less clients looking for virtual and more clients looking for people in person. The problem with that is you need an office. How do you get an office? You need to have money, right? You have to have money to make money. Office space can be, you have to put first class in security. Depending on where you rent from, you have to have furniture. You might be able to rent from another therapist part-time. That's a great way to dip your toe into private practice, is to rent from a therapist on the days that they're not using their office. The problem with that is then they are sort of limited, but you're sort of limited by when you can see clients. So you'd have to see if that made sense. I think the biggest thing is to be realistic on how long it takes to fill up. It can take I would say for a solo practitioner, like a private pay virtual solo practitioner, that could take up to a year to really build up. If you accept 1 or 2 insurances, that can help you. If you offer in person, that can help you. If you have a really good name in your community, that can help you. If you have a professional website, that can help you. If you invest in Google AdWords, that can help you. There are a lot of things that can kind of guide you and help you along the way. So again, I started this out by saying, this is so particular to your circumstances. I can't like wave a magic wand and say like, follow this formula in leaving your job. Because if you are somebody who has a high income from their job, high income expectation, or you have a lot of debt, right? Or you have a lot of obligations, or you have young children, or you have fears, whatever those things are. Those aren't good things. Those aren't bad things. Those are just things that impact the decisions you make for your business. You have to know what that is. I think that leaving your agency job can be great. So many people are leaving their agency jobs. I left my agency job. Like, I am for that. Like, I totally get that. And I've seen people leave my group practice and like flourish and build their own group practices and do really amazing things. So that happens too. Like, we totally get that. And I totally see that. You have to have a really solid plan. So I'm going to tell you a couple of tips on creating a solid plan. But first, I want to thank our sponsor, TherapyNotes. If you are just starting out, I highly recommend that you look into TherapyNotes for your electronic health record. They are great for solo practices. You can keep track of all your payments there. You can take credit card payments there. You can input cash payments. You can accept insurance. You can bill insurance directly through there. You can keep track of everything, stay organized right from the beginning. That was probably one of the biggest mistakes that I made in the beginning, is that I did everything by paper. I had Excel sheets, I had paper notes, and there were limitations to that. So if you're just starting out, I highly recommend you check out TherapyNotes for your electronic health record. So make a solid plan for yourself. Write a business plan. If you don't already have a business plan, write one. In that business plan, make a financial plan. Look at how much money you need to run your practice and to live your life. You are going to need money to run your practice. It's really one of the reasons why some group practices are so successful, because they are able to sort of minimize that cost of running a practice. But you are going to have to spend money to make money in a private practice. So make sure that you have a financial plan and that you have a marketing plan. Probably the biggest issue that I see for solo practitioners is, listen, you get an electronic health record, you get a website, you write your notes, you get a bank account, you get, some way to take credit cards, usually through your electronic health record. You are set. What I don't see is people having enough referrals. That is the biggest barrier to having a successful private practice, is referrals. So make sure you have a solid marketing plan that is going to drive referrals to your practice. If you haven't already watched some of my old videos, I have a lot of videos about marketing, Google AdWords, websites, Google My Business, SEO, Facebook. So go back, watch them. There's a lot of information out there, and I hope that it is helpful for you building your practice. Good luck.